Hi everyone, it's Catherine, and in today's tutorial I will be showing you how to make this miniature French dip. So let's get started. To make the bun, I am mixing together some white, yellow, and translucent clay, and then I am rolling that into a thick log and cutting the log into a quarter section and a 3/4 section. The quarter section is going to be the bottom half of the bun, and I am shaping that so that it is angled on the sides and flat on the top. And the top 3/4 is going to be the top bun, and I am just reshaping that as necessary. Next, I am cutting an angled sort of banana shape on the top half of the bun, and I am using my X-Acto knife to cut that and pull the clay out. To smooth the inside, I am using a rubber silicone tool. To add texture to the bun, I am using a toothbrush and tin foil. I am also adding some creases to the top bun using a rubber silicone tool. Here are the 4 primary colors of chalk pastels that I will be using to shade the bun. I am starting out with the lightest shade of pastel and adding that to the entire bun, except for the area where we cut some clay out on the top bun, and I am then adding the darker pastel colors as needed to make the bun look toasted. Once the bun has been shaded, I am adding texture to the inside of the top bun using 2 different sizes of needle tools, a toothbrush, a dotting tool, and a pointed dotting tool. I am adding some additional shading to the bun using a fine paintbrush and dark brown and dark red pastel. And if you ever have difficulty getting enough pastel in your paintbrush, you can always use an X-Acto knife to scrape some pastel off. Now that the bun is finished, we can move on to the meat. For the meat, I'm using some pinkish red clay and some brown clay. And then to texture it, I'm using 2 different sized needle tools, and I am cutting out small pieces using my X-Acto knife. To make the Swiss cheese, I'm using some of the leftover dough color, some yellow clay, and some translucent clay, and then I'm mixing it together and rolling it into a thin sheet. I then texture it with 2 different size ball tools to make small holes, and then I'm cutting out small squares and rectangles using my blade. To add texture to the inside of the bottom bun, I'm using a pointed dotting tool and just making small holes around the outer edge. Now it is time to assemble the sandwich, so I first add some liquid clay to the inside of the bottom bun, and then I add the meat. I then shaded the meat with some dark brown pastel, and I used my fine-tipped paintbrush, and then I added the cheese on top of the meat. To attach the top bun to the cheese, I used some liquid clay, and then I used a toothbrush to press that on more firmly to avoid ruining any texture. To make the au jus, I used some Fimo Deco gel, brown and dark brown pastel, and then I poured that into a bowl that I made from polymer clay. Because the Fimo Deco gel is so thick, it doesn't spread to all of the edges of the bowl, so to make it look more runny, I used a dotting tool and just spread it evenly inside the bowl. After you bake it, you can add some additional shading to the sandwich using some chalk pastel mixed with water, and after you add some glaze, you are all finished. I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye everybody!